Hello, as you can see today for review I've got fresh and recently released affordable player by FiiO M3 Pro. So it's basically the third attempt by FiiO to create an entry-level DAB in their lineup. So first M3, I like it, and my wife still use it time to time. It was over-expected by many of audience, and then some people were disappointed, but I still like it. It's small, it has nice build, and actually it sounded pretty good, but it was limited in terms of interface and user experience, basically because of used processor there. So it was replaced by M3K, pretty nice DAB, but nowadays it looks pretty outdated. So it's time for FiiO to release the M3 Pro, and I was really surprised by how many good things they managed to pack in the small device with $80 price tire. So first of all, it's small, but we'll cover that later. What is more interesting here is that they used ES919218, if I remember right, that index of this chip. So really good full-feature digital to analog converter, and it gives nice amplification. It's 75 milliwatts for 32 ohms load, so pretty good figures for small DAB, and it's packed with other useful features, but let's proceed probably step by step. So as you can see, package is small, traditional for FiiO, pretty minimalistic, slim and thin. It's just open this way. It was wrapped in plastic, but of course I already tear plastic away. So player itself. USB-C cable. And if I remember right, we will have also protective screens, but not in my version. So protective screens were mentioned on the website, but not sure. Maybe they will add them later or not. No case, but for this price range I think it was an attempt to minimize the price. And actually, it seems to me that protective screen is already applied, so I need to check it. So maybe protective screen is already pre-installed. So accessory set is basic and minimalistic, but I'm sure that case will be released soon too. In terms of design, it's really good. So for $80, it's small, it's slim, it's lightweight, looks pretty attractive. It's made of metal, so it's an aluminum frame and plastic front and back panel. So let's peel that thing. I won't need it. So some traces of glue stayed. So high-res audio mentioned because it supports DSD up to DSD 128. But besides that, it's really solidly built, nice looking. So I like how it feels in hand. Of course, it's gathering fingerprints, but anyway, it's pretty forgiving. It could be forgiven. So 3 buttons on the side, one for on, off and screen lock. This middle for play pause. It has small bump to find it easily, and 2 for volume, and when screen is locked, long press to these buttons allows you to select next or previous track. Here is headphones output. It can be used as a line out if you need. It can be toggled in the menu. USB-C, it can be used for charging. You can use it as digital to analog converter. You can use it as a digital transport, so you can connect external digital to analog converter to it. And actually it makes M3 Pro a good transport, and actually it's better than Tempotec V1A that is used currently in this aspect because of better sound, but Tempotec offers Bluetooth while this one doesn't have it. And small hole for microphone as it has built-in recorder. Not sure why, but anyway, they added. So let's turn it on. It boots up pretty fast because here used Nginx system on chip, pretty fast and performant chip. So, and as you can see, another strong feature of this player, it's big touch screen that occupies almost whole front panel. Resolution is 800 by 380, pretty decent viewing angles and nice brightness. Not the greatest one, but it's nice. As you can see on the maximum settings, even under the bright studio light, it remains pretty good. So screen definitely will be one of the best selling features of this dub. And in terms of firmware, it's just basic. It definitely will be polished later, but anyway. So here is categories, it's media library, all songs, artists, albums, genres, favorites, playlists, and recently added tracks. And swiping this way, you can return back to the, actually return back. If it was first level, you will return to now playing screen. If it's multi-leveled, you will return step by step. Also, there is a file browser if you like to see your library the way you organized it. Swiping from right to left, actually swiping from right to left opens mass management, so you can select few tracks and delete them, add to playlist, add to favorites, or select all. As you can see, it's not always perfectly recognize these swipes, so you need to swipe directly from the edge of the screen in order for this swipe to be registered. And as you can see in the folder management, you can use it too. So it requires some usage, but to do the swipes correctly, but anyway, it's working. Now playing, of course, as you can expect, it's now playing screen. Just select something and it will start a playback. So here you can see lyrics if it's present in the tags. And actually there are some imperfections in localization. I selected English firmware, but some Chinese captions are still present. I'm pretty sure that it will be addressed in the next firmware updates pretty fast. As usual, album cover, track navigation, you can rewind it here. Need just be precise to hit the central part. And play order, add to favorites, add to playlist, and additional menu, so equalizer and information about track and deletion, so only Chinese captions, but luckily icons are self-explanatory. Equalizer is just preset based, no custom equalizer settings, but on Head-Fi, FiiO representatives already promised that they will add it. And as with M5, icon on the upper left corner will bring you back to the main menu, but you need to press it firmly. There is a drop-down menu with tracks navigation, also favorites and play order. Also you can quick launch calculator or ebooks, or you can return to now playing if you need it. So what's next? Recording is pretty simple, so just sound recorder, you just hit the record button and it will start recording. It supports MP3 and WAV files if I remember right, and actually it also supports up to 84 kHz and 16 bits record, so I don't need this record anyway. I don't see the usage for this feature, but anyway, maybe it can be handy sometimes. I'm I think that it's better to have some feature and don't use it than don't have it at all. So I will skip settings, we'll return to them a bit later, and ebook. So ebook reader, pretty nice, working even with Cyrillics, probably with all other UTF-8 text it will be working too. It shows the current progress. Maybe not the best solution for reading, but anyway, from time to time I think it can be also handy. For example, on some exam you can have some additional information here. Word wrapping isn't done correctly, but anyway, you can turn the pages. Here is additional menu with brightness and font settings, so you can have bigger font if you need. And tap here, and what is here, read again, so probably restart reading, and let's go back, so it saves the progress. Here is another example, Alice in Wonderland, so with hard line breaks text looks a bit jagged, but still I think pretty normally working feature. Calculator is basically it's just a calculator, and all modern calculators done in the Apple's design. So divide by 0 and we'll have not a number. Anyway, gallery is just a way to see images. I have only albums covers actually. And settings, so settings, update media library, update right now and should it be automatically updated. Playback settings, it's play order, resume mode, gapless playback, maximum volume, fixed volume on boot up, channel balance, equalizer and playthrough folders. So just basic features, no replay gain, maybe it will be added later, but maybe no. And system settings, so brightness, screen timeout, idle standby, sleep mode if you need it, USB mode, it's storage or digital to analog converter, recording quality, so high and low, and lock screen clock. I don't like them, but if you turn it on, when you unlock it, it will show you clock and you need to swipe. And select output, line out or headphones out, time settings, date settings, language, storage formatting, factory restore, system updates, about M3 Pro. So all the basic features that modern DAP requires are here. It needs some usage a little bit to perform these swipes correctly, but more or less it's working. Of course, some features looks like something that is not really useful, but anyway, from time to time maybe it can be handy. So in general, firmware is stable, it's working, it's not like super fast or super fluid, but we are speaking about the $80 and you can probably see where this $80 went. So it doesn't have built-in memory, only micro SD cards, but it supports all even biggest cards, at least spec-wise. I didn't test it myself. I'm using 128 gigabyte cards. And it's pretty good in terms of power efficiency. From 12 hours up to 14 you will usually get with it. So pretty good figures for the daily commuters DAP. It will serve you for a really long time. And of course about the sound. So as an example, I will put Noble Audio, Kaiser and Core on the table, and let's speak about this DAP. It's pretty good for $80. I can probably say that it's great. Of course, like $150 or $200 DAPs will be better, but for $80 it's like pretty good. It's like iPod Nano missing brothers that Apple should been released many years ago, but of course with better sound. So it reminds me Apple approach in design, but anyway with more focus on the sound quality. It's more or less natural, but not focused on the micro contrast, a bit of added weight to sound pleasant, and at the same time more or less technical. So 9218 is a good system on chip. It's a digital tonal converter and amplifier in one, and it's a good solution to build inside of any devices that requires low power consumption and nice sound quality. So with this player, FiiO achieved that goals pretty easily, but it's just a matter of experience. So anyway, bass is natural, has nice depths. When I'm describing the sound of this dub, it's really hard to select which way should I take. If I took price into account, everything is really nice. So bass is deep, with good weight, with normal resolution, enough of control, of course, to stay on place, a bit shifted towards the warmer side, but still pretty well in texturing. Comparing with some $200 models, of course, it's lacking a resolution, it's lacking a bit of tightness, but it's, of course, it's a matter of price. So, and pretty engaging in terms of texturing, and plays pretty well with natural in-ear monitors, making them a bit less natural and a bit more fun, but at the same time not being too fun, so you won't have that bass that everywhere, or like it's dominating like some other companies doing. I won't name of that companies anyway. So as an example, I've got Tuomas Holopainen, called Heart of the Klondike. Nightwish recently released new album, so Tuomas once again did a great job. Not everyone will agree, but I think that Nightwish is developing as a band, offering more complex topics, more complex melodies, and so on and so forth. And Tuomas Holopainen Life and Times of Scrooge is a great example of symphonic poem that's sounding engaging, but at the same time, it's kind of mix of classical music and at the same time modern music, so it's not dull. As you can see, actually album cover looks pretty good thanks to this narrow bezels around the screen, so experience is really pleasant. And if you won't turn it this way, if you look just perpendicular to the screen, you won't see the edges of the screen. So nice experience. I like when screen is just looks flat on the front surface. So, called Heart of the Klondike, it's symphony orchestra in all its power, with a lot of usage of big drum and all other percussion instruments, so it requires nice low frequencies rumble, nice weight, and it delivers it pretty efficiently. Mids are also done in a natural style, bit shifted towards the warmer side, so don't expect like super focus on the micro contrast, maximum resolution, super amount of details. No, it's more tuned to be more forgiving, a bit more emotional, a bit more weighty, so nice weight for the vocal and for the instruments, giving a decent body and so on. Besides that, imaginary stage is about average both in width and in depth, but of course, stage more depends on the earphones, of course, so it's not a matter of the player itself. And pretty good level of naturalism, so not supernatural, but normal. It's once again, it's hard to describe that amount, comparing with more expensive models. Of course, you can hear the disadvantages, you can hear the difference, but for $80 it's still a great value, so we'll cover it a bit more later in the comparisons. So its volume, and actually, which way should I navigate for the next track? So yeah, here is example for the mid frequencies. It's FiiO Laurie Evenin. This track can be used as an example for the treble and low frequencies too, because really nice acoustic bass part here and nice percussions. But of course, FiiO Laurie's voice plays a vital role in this track, and it's emotional with really great tonality. I really like it, and this player plays it normally, you know, not superb, because for superb you will need something like FiiO's M11 or somewhere from that range, but once again for $80 it's still a really good option. You know, I'm always mentioning the price, but it's impossible to review everything without mentioning the price, because, you know, like I got Aston Kern Ultima SP2000, and comparing with Ultima, not almost, but everything has flows like only low-true Power Gold Touch can be compared with Ultima without any buts. So anyway, it's impossible to skip the price and move it out of brackets, so it's just not the way it should work. So I will elaborate a bit more in the comparison, so I said it already. And treble is also normal with good extension. It's a bit simplified, so don't expect superb layering, rich overtones, but resolution is normal. It's not super accented, so it's just like basic treble without some audiophilic richness, but at the same time it's doing a job pretty good in playing percussions, in playing higher notes, so all that stuff is sounding okay. And as an example, I've got yet another unusual track. It's Dream Theater official bootleg, so they decided to re-perform one of the best live performances. It's Deep Purple's Made in Japan, which is already a live record, and it performed live once again by the Dream Theater. I'm not sure why Dream Theater do it, maybe just because they can. They re-recorded Master of Puppets and Made in Japan, and if I remember right, also Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast. So Smoke on the Water, it has nice percussions here, and also it has that audience, like applause, shouts, and all other stuff. They are going pretty high in the treble area, not the main tone, but overtones, of course, and this player represented in a pretty normal way. And in terms of driving power, of course, 75 milliwatts for 32 ohms load, it's much better than M3K results. So of course M3K works for 20 hours and more, but it's underpowered. And 70 milliwatts for 32 ohms load, you know, I think that it's a reasonable amount of power for the modern DAP, for the modern portable device. Of course, it won't drive like 300 ohms Sennheisers, or it won't drive some planars like Hi-Fi Man's Ananda or something like that. It's not created for that, but vast majority of in-ear monitors it drives without any problems. And also I need to mention that background noise is pretty low. It's a plus for those who have sensitive in-ear monitors. And full-size headphones that are not super power hungry, it also drives maybe not perfect, but pretty well. So you like headphones that is created for, it won't be a problem for this player. Speaking about the comparisons, actually here is FiiO's M6. I really hope that DD Hi-Fi will release some similar case to it. I still like it. Let me show you the size comparison. So as you can see, M6 is pretty bigger in almost every dimension. So basically It's really surpass M3K, just offering more resolving, more natural sound with better control and more power. So you know, it's kind of kills M3K, maybe not totally, because M3K, for example, works longer, but this one just more audiophilic. M5 also is a bit, it's also a bit better than M5 in terms of sound, just a tiny bit more resolving, especially on the mids, but difference isn't huge, but still noticeable. But M5's strongest part, it's Bluetooth, so M5 is a perfect Bluetooth wireless transport, both in terms of receiving and transmitting, so whatever you need. And M6, you know, they have a pretty similar general representation. Both are more or less natural, but a bit on with a bit of added weight. But M6 is a bit more natural sounding, so not also by a huge margin, but still anyway noticeable. And of course, it has Android on and all other stuff like that. So it's just streaming, Wi-Fi, and you know, it's player that is on the market for more than a year, and I still think that it's one of the most sophisticated and complicated dubs ever created. So it's the maximum features in the minimum case. Anyway. So what else I can say about this player? Of course, it's a pity that FiiO didn't add Bluetooth here, but definitely with Bluetooth it won't fit this price range. It's pretty obvious, so it's just a player for those who don't need wireless connectivity, just a wired connection, but it's a great dub for daily commute with good lifetime and pretty decent sound, driving almost any modern headphones. So there will be more reviews soon, definitely, but that was my opinion about M3 Pro, so stay tuned. I hope I will have something for next reviews. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.